Hello, hello, apa khabar? Selamat datang and welcome to Virtually Peranakan Fest 2023, celebrating our colorful culture. Welcome to the festival. My name is Alvin Un, the organizer and host from Peranakan Sayang. This is our fourth year of this annual online festival to keep our culture alive and kicking, and it is for Peranakans around the world. Do say hi in the comments and let us know where you are watching this live stream from. And I certainly hope that you all have been well. Semua, bye, bye. Say hi, all well. I hope so. Yeah. So, and thank you so much for joining us. And right now, I'd like to introduce my co-host and who's always been supporting the festival as well. It's my friend who is streaming from Malacca, my co-host, Baba Cedric Tan. Hello, Ba.
Apa khabar once more to Baba Alvin and everyone out there. Selamat petang. I hope you all sudah
Yeah.
makan.
Ya, makan sama teh sama kopi semua
Yes, I had a wonderful tea just now while waiting for you all to come on board. Yeah. So yeah.
Right
Now
now,
I'm
right
settled
now,
and ready.
our next program is in Malacca. Would you like to introduce our next presenter?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's located. We call it one shout away from my place here.
One shot.
Yeah, satu seplaung they call it, and he's located at the Baba Nyonya Museum on Heeren Street. And yes, recently he has written and published a book called the Baba and Nyonya Renaissance.
Yes.
And this book was originally based on his master thesis, and of course now fully converted into, I think, a 200-page hardcover, multi-picture book. I think a must for everyone who loves Peranakan culture. Yeah. I think let's not delay any longer. We want to listen to this author himself, what he has got to say about his book and also the content. Yeah. So let's bring on Lee Yuen Thien from Malacca.
Hello, Ba.
Hi, Alvin. Hi, Cedric. Baik.
Baik semua.
Yes.
Okay.
Senyum-senyum Baba ni.
Habis takkan mau masam muka sedih kan?
So Thien is going to share
semua
about his book. Yeah, his brand new book that was just launched not too long ago, kan? Just recently only, last month.
A month ago. Yeah, 7th of October.
I was fortunate to be there with him.
Yes, thank you for coming all the way.
And I also help sikit-sikit help contribute a few photos to the book lah.
Yes.
So small contribution So Thien, please share with us about your book.
Okay. It's actually not my book. It's the association's book. Yeah. Now I started this book. Not really started to write the book. It's actually converted, as what Cedric said, from my master thesis. And the reason why I think I've actually put this idea aside to convert this book my master's thesis into a book for a while. Yeah, I was advised by my supervisors, my lecturers, that hey, you should convert your master's thesis into a book. But then I said, I just have that thought, but it didn't really materialize until this year, where I actually decided that okay, since we are hosting the 34th Baba Nyonya International Convention in Malacca by my association, so I say, as a fundraising effort, I think it's only appropriate that I present my thesis to the association and convert it into a coffee table book, so that more people would actually be interested, and it can be a fundraising effort for the association. And last month, it was when the book was published. Yeah. And the reason, of course, my thesis is not entitled the Baba Nyonya Renaissance, but then when we converted it into a book, I must think of a very interesting title. Yeah, and short and sweet. And I came to this title, finalizing with this title, the Baba Nyonya Renaissance, where the word Renaissance is actually a French word referring to a rebirth and a renewed interest. Yeah, so this book actually talks about a rebirth of our Baba Nyonya identity, our current Baba Nyonya identity, and a renewed in interest on our culture and everything related to Baba Nyonya. So, we have talked a lot on our history, our origins, and now it is the time, I think, that we should look into our current identity, who we are now at present, and what would the future be like for us. So that was what my study was all about, and I have converted it into this coffee table book with more than 200 photographs inside, and they're all colored. Yeah, because we are talking
Colored
about
photos.
present, right?
Yes. Yes.
Cannot be black and white.
A few black and white.
A few,
All white.
yes, because
Yes.
we cannot forget our history.
That's right.
Yeah. That the history part we cannot make it. We cannot change it.
Yes.
It's as it is. Yeah. So a few black and white photographs. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So there is the cover of the book. Yeah. And I've talked a little bit on our history. Yeah. We cannot do without our history. Of course, we must always remember our roots, our origin, how we came about, what actually happened that form our current Baba Nyonya identity. So, yes, many of us always say that when we are in Malacca, many of us say that, oh, Baba Nyonya is actually from Malacca, originally from Malacca. The other states, they are not original. Sometimes it's not very healthy or right to say that. Yeah, we must respect our differences. Maybe Malacca was one of the earliest settlement, hence most of the earliest Baba Nyonya families came from Malacca. But it is not fair to say that Baba Nyonya is from Malacca. Okay, and also we must remember, yeah, Baba Nyonya is actually an evolution itself. That our forefathers came from China, yeah, through this part of the peninsula, and Malacca was an international port at that point of time. So they were very much involved in businesses, and they were here to trade. And it's unlike today, when you come, you can just return to China maybe after a few days or a week or two. Yeah, you have to spend at least 4 to 5 months in Malacca. And of course, many of them at that point of time decided to make Malacca as their second home. And they have to, of course, marry women who are available at that point of time here in Malacca, and they are all women of the Malay archipelago. Why? Because it is a Chinese, it was a policy during the Ming and also the Qing dynasty that women were not allowed to travel by sea. Yeah, they were not allowed to leave their country. Hence, those that traveled to or journeyed to the Nusantara were mainly men. So they have to marry the local women here who are of Malay origin. They can be of Thai, Indonesian as well. And, their children grew up in these two different cultures. As we all know, we have a mix of Chinese and Malay culture heritage in our whole Baba Nyonya lifestyle. So it was this intermarriage that happened many generations ago that formed this beautiful culture today that we know. So in the book, it discusses on all these aspects, how the Chinese came, why they took local wives, and how the culture evolved. Yeah, but then we should also remember, yeah, that was why stressed very much in this book that Baba Nyonya, we are still very much Chinese, although we have quite an extensive influence from our local culture and elements like the food aspect, attire, and also language. But at the same time, spiritually, we are still very much Chinese with practice. Now, that was why I decided to pick the Chanap as the cover of the book. Yeah, if you look at it, I think it's very interesting. Yeah, to look at the Chanap itself. The stand is a Teochew wooden carved box from China, 100% from China. But then, yeah, we use it in our own terms with the carved sweet preserved papaya strips weave into flowers and also have that crab-like look. Yeah, this is something I think commonly found in Southeast Asian culture, where fruit carving is actually a norm here, like in Thailand and also in Indonesia. So it tells a beautiful story, and I think that was why I decided to use this as the cover for this book. Yeah, it blends in, the local Malay culture with Chinese ideology and influence, and we make it beautifully into something that belongs to us. Yeah, so that was why the cover of the Chanap is there. A lot of people ask me, hey, why you pick the Chanap? Although they know that it's beautiful and they know that I actually is known for making this. Yeah, but it's not because of that. It's the reason, all these reasons behind it, that I decided to actually use this as the cover photo for the book. Okay, now next, like I've mentioned just now, it's very important for us to remember our roots. Like this photograph here is very dear to me. It is taken in the year 1920 in Malacca, in front of my ancestral home in Kandang. Okay, so now if you look at the attire, again, it tells you so much at that time. Yeah, the Nyonyas, they're wearing baju panjang, not even kebaya yet. Yeah, so they were in baju panjang. Even the young Nyonyas, my grand auntie there, she's in baju panjang even. It was during the 12th-day wedding ceremony of my second grand auntie. And you look at the gentlemen, only 3 of them there. My grandfather is the little boy with the flower bouquet. And then the one behind him is my great-grandfather, my Gongcho. He's wearing, you see, look at him, still wearing the Chinese jacket and with the Manchurian pigtail hairstyle. Okay.
I see.
Yeah,
What's
so you can
interesting is
see.
there are 2 pairs of lanterns in this photograph.
Correct. It's a wedding thing. I think Cedric can share some important points why we need to have 2 pairs of lanterns hanging at the home during a wedding ceremony. Cedric, do you want to share something on the lantern?
Basically, say that the 2 chotaos happened in this house, and this house belonged to the Lee clan. Judging from the arrangement of the lantern, the place of honor is of the Lee family's lantern is being placed the most outside. I can't see what's the second character though, but suffice to say that
Teo.
2 chotaos, Teo. So 2 chotaos, that means the groom and the bride's chota was held in this house.
And still, you see, although they are wearing local attire, still we uphold our Chinese tradition very much, although it is not located in Heeren Street or any part of the town. Yeah, Kandang is a bit outskirt. Yeah, the Chinese element is still very much being practiced there. And later on, the younger Babas, they are all already in Western attire. Yes. So we can see there is this transition of the identity, their values, from a very Chinese background and with very much local influence, like the sarongs. You see the Nyonyas all in their sarongs with anklets, gelang kaki, and then the Babas already in Western attire with a bow tie. I'm sure it's very hot, at that time. Yeah, still
The weather was cooler last time.
perhaps maybe without global warming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still quite warm, I suppose.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to always look at all these old photographs in the book. I think there are more than 30 old photographs like this. Of course, I cannot share all the photographs here, so I only share those that is very dear to me. Yeah, so if you want to look at more photographs, perhaps you can get a copy of the book.
Buy the book.
Yeah, during the convention. Okay, now this is the outcome of my research. Like I've mentioned just now, yeah, this book is actually a result of my master's study. So after I did my research, yeah, to be qualified as a Baba and Nyonya living in the 21st century, we have to rely on these two main criteria. Why? Because I work in the museum, the Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum, so I receive quite a number of interviews almost every day. And the first thing that they usually ask me, how can we identify the Baba and Nyonya today? Because they say it's very hard. It's very challenging for them to actually identify a Nyonya or a Baba. So I told them, you can't tell unless you ask us, because our faces are not blue. Okay?
Blue?
So they laugh.
Not blue,
our faces are not, we are not, they thought that we drink bunga telang or what, then our faces will become blue, is it? I said we are not, so it's very difficult to identify just by physical observation. Yeah, so you can't. So then it actually, made me realize that, yeah, it's actually not easy. Of course, we from the community, we know our own relatives, our circle of friends. But then, from people outside of the community, it's very difficult. Hence, I did the research, and to be known or classified as a Baba and Nyonya in the 21st century today, we have to rely on these two factors: our behavior and also on our birthright, which is our ancestry, genealogy. Okay, so like for example, my cousin, who is born and raised in Bangsa, yeah, my Pepe's son. Now we had a family gathering. I think just before COVID happened in Malacca. So we were all seated and talking. So my cousin-in-law, my cousin's wife, talked to me. Hey, Thien, I always see you on TV. Sometimes, interviewed. Sometimes doing some show and stuff like that. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not always on TV, but yeah, you do see me once in a while during Chinese New Year, especially. So then I say, then he asked me, oh, so you all are considered Baba and Nyonya lah. I say, yeah. Then your father is a Baba. I say, yes. My mom is also a Nyonya. Oh, yeah. And then, then your father and my father-in-law are siblings. I said, yes. Which means my husband is also a Baba. I say, yeah. Then my cousin, quickly say, no, I'm not one.
Oh.
I was like, what do you mean by you're not one? You see, again, he has got the birthright, the ancestry, the genealogy part. But then his behavior, his choice, he said that he's not one.
He doesn't identify
simply
as
because
one.
He said he don't identify himself as one, and he said that because he do not do all the cultural practices like I do, he don't even semayang anymore, because we do all the semayang in Kandang, until today. He don't do that part. He only comes back like once a year for Chembeng, and then he would say that, I don't even know the name of the kuehs. I just know the green one, rounded green thing with
only know how to eat
inside with stuff like that. And his mom is actually, my mom is actually a Nyonya from Penang, but again, never instilled this awareness in him. So, I think it's very important that you are from this community and you must identify yourself as one. Then you can claim yourself as a 21st century Baba Nyonya living in a modern era. Yeah. And likewise, if someone who is very familiar with the Baba Nyonya heritage, like my colleague Christina, working in the Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum for more than 30 years, since the very first day the museum was formed. Yeah, she's here. She speaks fluent patois and knows many of our cultural practices, because she mixes around with many of her friends. Cedric is her close friend even. Yeah. So she knows all these cultural practices, but then she is a Teochew, pure Teochew. Yeah. So we have to balance these two elements to be known as.
Would she be considered a Nyonya?
She herself said that I'm not one. I'm a Teochew.
She's not, right?
But she's not.
Because
So
she doesn't
cannot
have the
be
birthright to it.
Correct. Let's say she can camouflage, but what about she can camouflage if she wants to? But what about an European lady who is very much into our culture? Can speak the Papa very well, but can she be identified as a Nyonya? Perhaps not, but can be a Eurasian.
Yeah. Taking your title of your book, A Renaissance, it's a resurgence of the interest in the culture in the past.
Correct.
But there will be people who love the culture, who appreciate the culture. They do not have the birthright at all. But today they somehow try to identify themselves as a Baba or Nyonya. I would say that for them, I do appreciate that they actually love the culture, but technically it's not quite right to call them
correct. I mean, it's nothing wrong for you to enjoy the culture.
Exactly.
Love the culture. Yes,
in fact, I appreciate that.
Correct. I am proud that people actually took interest in our culture and heritage. But then for them to be known as a Baba or a Nyonya, I think it's just not that right. Yeah,
yes,
it's just like this photograph here. We have these two photographs, one in black and white, which is of my grandmother. Yeah, she's seated in the middle there. She was 18 then. Yeah, with her two companions. You see, 3 of them is wearing samfu, and they're all Nyonyas.
Yes, that was the fashion of the day.
Correct. And on the opposite side, all of them young. They are actually celebrities from Hong Kong and China. Yeah, they had a shooting in the museum, and all of them they were wearing batik and kebaya and sarung. So they are not Peranakans or Baba Nyonya, but then they are very fond of the culture that they came, and then they want to dress like one for the shooting.
Yes,
you see, just to visit the museum, they dress in that attire, which I appreciate it very much. You see, but then they be known as a Baba or Nyonya just simply because they dress like one. I think it's just not right.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's nothing wrong for them to appreciate the culture.
Yes.
Okay. Now, coming back to the ancestry. Yeah, we have always talked about our forefathers, yes, it is a very important aspect and part of our identity. Without them, we would not be here. But I would like to also take this opportunity to actually, highlight this part that I've actually mentioned a lot in the book, that we must always remember that our forefathers that came from China actually evolve. They adapt to the changes. Yeah, like from China they came over, they adapted to the local influences, the local lifestyle that formed the changes that they took actually formed the Baba Nyonya identity that we know today. So I think now that we are moving forward, we should not be afraid of these changes, because when I talk to the some of the senior members of the community, they would say, "Oh, kita yang Baba Nyonya so habis.
Yeah,
No more Baba Nyonya, gone." Because why? If you put a benchmark to the Baba Nyonya, oh, you must tumbuk your sambal belacan, you must giling your rempah. Of course, my mom even today don't cook Nyonya food anymore. If you take that as a criteria, you must, giling, grind using a grinder, the batu giling. and pound your spices. My mom, I used to see her doing that when I was in primary school. Then later on, she also switched to the blender, just press a button. Yeah, so I think most of our household nyonyas would do that now. Yeah,
Yes.
if you say that you must tumbuk your rempah, then only you can call that a nyonya dish. Then I would think that, we all no longer cook nyonya dishes, right? Same goes for other aspects of our culture. Yeah, we should not be so strict. Yeah, that a baba must do this, a baba must do that. Then or a nyonya must know how to sew kasut manik. A nyonya must know how to do kebaya embroidery. Then I think, everybody will say, I better not become a nyonya, or I better not be a baba, or else I will not have a life. Right? So I think we have to adapt to all these changes to stay relevant in this modern era. Yes, the knowledge and awareness is very important that, how it used to be. But then at the same time, we must accept all these changes, all these things, the next evolution, the Renaissance, or like I said, the current rebirth, our new identity that we want. And we have to adapt to, so that our culture would stay relevant and would ensure that it would have a continuation, or else it would end up like my cousin in Bangsa saying that, I'm not a Baba, habis.
Yeah.
No, it is
I
still
totally
good.
agree with you, Thien. But I think the challenge would be, we all knew what was the benchmark of the past. Like, a nyonya is so and so, a baba is so and so. But moving on, we have already evolved over time, and that is a natural progression. But then how do we then identify what is the baba and nyonya of today? How do we quantify or identify one? I guess that is the challenge.
Yeah, this is something that I think all of us have to re-look into, because there is no one definite definition that the Baba Nyonya of the 21st century must be like this, and this. See, because even in the past, the Baba and Nyonya is very different. Yeah, some is very into, maybe like some families are very good at cooking, some are very good at baking, So it depends on the individual themselves. And then from there, what is their take on their culture? Like, for example, I am very much into the cultural practices, but on the other hand, my brother, he couldn't care less. Yeah, he can help, but if you ask him to do all the cultural practices, he say, you buat tak tahu. Yeah, but then on his part, he said that he's now very much involved in doing the pineapple tart business. He said that he wants to do something for his heritage and his culture. So he's doing that part, promoting the pineapple tarts to the wider audience. Yeah, so that more people will know, or more people can appreciate the pineapple tarts. Yeah. So I think, he's doing his part for the culture and to promote it, just like this photograph here. You see how we want our young generation to re-look into their identity. Like the grandma here in green, she's Auntie Teo Swat Neo. Yeah, she's the one of the few kebaya embroiderer in Malacca surviving ones. Yeah, but she don't take orders anymore. Don't go around and ask for her number. Yeah, for her to take orders, she don't. Yeah, but you see how she would like to pass this culture or that skill of hers to her next generation, and she's a bit worried that her daughters, even her daughter-in-laws or her granddaughter, kneeling in front of her there. I don't know if her granddaughter Madalena is interested in continuing that art, but her father, Raymond, is very much hoping that his children will continue the practices. So I think on our part, as parents, as elders in the family, it's very important for us to actually instill the awareness. Like Raymond, I see that he would make his children, his daughter, his son to be involved in making maybe like Chinese New Year, preparing all the preparation. He will get his son's involvement in whatever way that they can. He even taught his daughter how to make the chana, So I think this is good effort to promote or to expose our younger generation to pick up, to do their role, at least to have that awareness. Yeah, rather than end up like my cousin in Bangsa, not doing anything and say that I'm not a Baba. Yeah, so I think it's important. And then many ask me, hey, why you didn't ask the young Baba there to color his hair black? Why is it his hair in blue? And then they accepted it. I say it's okay, ma. It shows that the Baba is also very in, fashionable. Yeah, it's okay to have a young Baba with purple hair there. Yeah, he just finished his exam, so his father said, okay or not? Because I asked them to come and have this photograph taken at the museum for the book. I say, okay, I'm okay with it. So it shows that, we have to accept. We cannot be so rigid, then that it will make people shun away from the heritage. Yeah, perhaps didn't even want to be seen or known and say, all this very leceh, I better not be a Baba or a Nyonya anymore. Yeah. And coming back to your question just now, Alvin, how do we want to identify or qualify ourselves as a Baba and Nyonya today? I think, like I've mentioned just now, we have to look back. Like, for example, the Baba Nyonya in the past, we spoke, for us in the South, of course, we spoke the patois, the Baba patois that we spoke at home. And then, the Nyonyas very easily can be identified by their kebaya, their attire, their sarung and kebaya, and the inability to speak any of the Chinese dialects. I am sure many of us, we are always labeled as OCBC lah, orang Cina bukan Cina, cannot speak Chinese. But of course, the current Baba and Nyonya, like Raymond's children just now, all of them went to Chinese school. They can speak Mandarin.
Yes.
English, and also like myself, I can speak Mandarin. I was also sent to Chinese primary school. I can speak Mandarin. Yeah, so it comes to the current Baba and Nyonya identity, that the Baba and Nyonya today speak English, speak Mandarin, and they have very poor command of the patois, like Raymond's children. Although Raymond, the wife is a Nyonya, mother is a Nyonya, you see, all of them speak the patois at home, but then surprisingly, the children they chose to speak English to their parents, and grandma actually picked up Mandarin to communicate with their with the grandchildren. Yeah, so same goes. Like my family, my grandma even pick up Mandarin to speak to my younger cousins. Those who cannot speak the patois. So I think, again, there is this transition, and that actually made them have poor command of the patois, because language is very fluid. If you don't use it, if there's no need for you to maintain the language, it would just slowly just die off a natural death. Yeah, so whether or not our patois will continue to survive this 21st century, it's very hard for me to explain. Although I say, speaker of the patois have lessened, but it is still around. Perhaps, they, like Raymond's children, they know a few words. They would say "berse" instead of "besar." Yeah, and all of us today actually wear modern attire, unless we are attending, of course, like Peranakan-related or Peranakan team event, like the coming convention. All of us would be wearing batik, baju Cina, sarung and kebaya, right? Or else we wouldn't be wearing that going to the market or the mall. So what would the future of this Baba Nyonya be like? I think it is what we all, today have to think about. Because we cannot say that, we must wear kebaya and sarung. Then how many of us would still be wearing kebaya and sarung on a daily basis? maybe it's good that effort that at least you wear your kebaya top to work with maybe pants to your office. At least you wear it once a week or something like that. And with your manik shoes, at least it gives kebaya a new life, rather than you only wear it once a year during Chinese New Year or during our Peranakan annual dinner. Yeah. So the future of our Baba Nyonya identity, I think it remains a question mark. It is for us to think about and for us to determine today. Perhaps, we would change into a modern Baba and Nyonya. Who knows? Yeah, I think we will still be around. Like in the past, we have been here for a few hundred years, so I don't think the culture would just fade off. It would evolve into a new modern shape, and with some elements of the past that we would bring forth into the future with us. So I think we have to create this awareness within our community itself. We must start from ourselves. This awareness is very important, that we are all from Baba Nyonya origin. We have this shared ancestry, and then with that awareness, it gives hope. And from there, with hope, then only we would have hope for continuity, or else it would just end up like my bangsa cousin. No, I'm not a Baba. That's it, finish, habis. Okay, so I think awareness is very important here. Then it gives hope to the whole entire community to continue to survive in the future. Okay?
Yes.
So I think, I have come to an end to my sharing, and I would have two pantuns here that I would like to share with all of you. Yeah, pergi gelanggang cari buku, jumpa buku pasal Baba Nyonya. Nyari peranakan, terbitkan buku, moga warisan Baba Nyonya kekal selamanya. Pagi-pagi pergi pasar, mau beli udang sama ikan. Saya Baba baru belajar. Kalau salah tolong ampunkan. Okay? That's all from me.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much.
Wow. That was a very thought-provoking presentation for us to think about and reflect on what we, Peranakans or Babas and Nyonyas value our culture and where do we take it. So I would like to hear from Cedric actually, because Cedric is also very much into this whole effort to keep the culture going. Cedric, your thoughts, please.
I was just thinking along the way just now. What would constitute a person who generally call himself a Baba Nyonya in, let's say, 10 years' time or maybe 20 years' time? What would be his basis of roots, or maybe basic points to say that he's still a Baba or Nyonya? Because if you talk about appearance, maybe appearance will still last, like sarung kebaya, batik. But
that's physical output.
Yeah, physical. But what would be more importantly what would be the intrinsic or the internal, the spiritual part of it? What can you say then that would clearly indicate strongly that you are a so-called maybe a Baba Nyonya? I wouldn't say a practicing one, but at least you are Baba Nyonya, because or else otherwise, anybody can claim that status. So
that's right.
That is a head scratching part of the discussion right now, because you probably may not be here long enough to see that, you see. But I mean, I'm so beginning to wonder when that comes, how will the whole appearance look like?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And sorry, one more thing, and along with it, all the information, the practices, the treasures, what we used to see in homes, what practices that we used to conduct in the houses, will probably be lost and gone unless somebody really takes the effort to archive this. I know that this would not be practiced anymore by then, at least by the majority of the so-called Babas and Nyonyas. So there is a genuine fear that, all this will be lost for the sake of convenience, and also for the sake of we call it progress. So genuine fear.
Actually, I look at it as a very positive progression in the culture. Because if you look in the timeline over the decades, let's say over the past 50, 60 years perhaps of the culture, it was actually going downhill for many, many decades, especially after World War II. And but as you see, the past couple or 3 decades ago, the interest of the culture, there has been a resurgence of the culture and the interest in the culture and the celebration of the culture, which has positively moved up. I would say so, definitely so. There's a lot more activity today. That's why we're even having an online festival annually, and of course the conventions and all the other activities, the parties, the talks, the classes that's been going on in all the different cities, our sister cities, even in Australia. There's so many activities going on. It just shows that there's so much more precious feeling of the culture that we have today compared to many decades ago. So that's a very positive thing. But now is the question of then how do we manage this? It is there, but we cannot just let it go on and without any parameters, or else it'll just go astray and it'll just disappear again. So I think that's a positive. We're in a positive mode right now. It's just how do we manage it as our own culture? Any thoughts? So,
I mean, many open-ended questions. Yeah, here. So this is something that we say, "Kue sera-sera," whatever will be sort of.
Yeah. So Johnny says one way is to use the term Baba Nyonya instead of Peranakan. We do understand. At least for me, I do understand. Baba Nyonya is very specifically to the Chinese Peranakans, but of course, in many events, we are also inclusive of the different Peranakans, the Jawi Peranakans and the Indian Chetty Peranakan. So we try to be inclusive. I guess that's in our nature as well. So we commonly use the word Peranakan. But I think you're right. You're not wrong. But Christopher also says that, they don't use the word Peranakan in Penang. Is that more of a Malacca, Singapore thing?
I think it was over the years. Earlier, we in Malacca also just say Baba Nyonya. Then later on, we adopted the Peranakan term.
Correct.
The earlier stage was always Baba Nyonya.
Correct. I think it's more of an inclusivity to include everybody else who fall under the Peranakan umbrella.
Yep.
Yeah, so Masako Kuroda, sorry if I got your name wrong. May I still be a Nyonya because I was born and brought up in a Nyonya and Baba home, but my father is a Japanese. Okay. Cross identity cultures, what do you think?
Well, I suppose if you have that, like again, the genealogy part, then you can be identified as one. But then again, Baba Nyonya is always a patriarchal, although we say we are matrilocal society, but our Chinese practices is still very much a patriarchal, spirit. Like for example, we always follow our father's surname. So let's say if your father is a Japanese, you have a Japanese name. Maybe you can say that, my mom is a Nyonya. You have certain, percentage of the Nyonya. Correct. But to say that you are a Nyonya is not for me to say whether you are one or not. It's very
what do you think, Cedric?
Half Nyonya. Okay. I think.
Here we go. We're going maths again. Okay, percentages.
I think we should learn to be very inclusive, yeah. As long as I think they can identify themselves as one, and they have that capacity to learn to be one, why exclude?
Yes. I think birthright is very important. That's what Thien mentioned. But you see, you might be 100 true blue %, 100% Baba or Nyonya. But if you don't even bother about it,
Exactly. My
What
point.
does that
Yeah.
mean? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything at all.
Yeah,
As
correct.
opposed to somebody who's only, let's
Correct.
say, 10%, technically 10% or 20%, whatever you want to call it, who's a Baba Nyonya, but loves the culture, then you are more of a Baba Nyonya than a
Definitely.
person who's
Who's
100%.
stronger?
Yeah.
You can be from your mother's side, but your mom's influence on you is stronger than your dad's side. You can see many cases that they are actually very Peranakan compared to what their father practices at home.
Yeah, but you can
Well,
celebrate being
yeah.
Japanese as well. So
Yeah,
that's
nothing
great.
wrong.
Yeah,
Best of both worlds.
yeah. So we have to wrap up because we've run out of time. But thank you very much to our presenter Thien for sharing about your beautiful book. And I do have a book. Yay! Okay, launch copy signed as well. Before we go, maybe you can share where you can get the book because I'm sure some people.
It's available at the association, in Tengkera, and also the Baba Nyonya, the Persatuan Peranakan Baba Nyonya Malaysia located in Tengkera, and also if you are attending the convention in 2 weeks' time, it would also be available at the bazaar from 24th to 26th of November. If you are in town, it's also available at the museum's gift shop.
Okay. So thank you very much. That was the Baba Nyonya Renaissance by Lee Yuen Thien, who's presenting from Malacca. Thank you very much, Thien, for doing that.
Most
And
welcome.
also, we'd like to thank Cedric, just a shout away from Thien. Thank you so much. for
McDonald's.
So that's the end of this program. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. Do follow our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all the links to watch all the upcoming programs that we have. And coming up very shortly at 5 p.m. Singapore time or GMT plus 8, we have Becoming Nyonya, a memoir with Catherine Xiao, who's in Singapore. So please click on the next program link to join us. This has been Virtually Peranakan Fest 2023. My name is Alvin Un. We will see you soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye.